Hello everyone, it's me, Anthony Couch, a guitarist on YouTube. Now, I've been teaching guitar for a long time, and do you know what, I always say that. How long is it now? It's coming up to 15 years I've been teaching guitar, give or take, and I pride myself on never dictating what any of my students learn. Sometimes they come to me and they say, okay, can you recommend any songs? And based on their ability and what the goals are, I will choose a song for them. But usually I just say, you know, what music do you like? What do you want to learn? And then we go from there. But for the rock guitarists, because I do teach classical guitar as well, and other genres, but for those rock guitarists who make up most of my students, there is one song that I do step in and I make sure that they learn. I was thinking about this. I was thinking about this song and thinking about the students that I've had, and just thought, yeah, I taught it to you. I taught it to you, to you, to you. It's just one of those songs that I make sure that the rock guitarists learn. And before I actually go into it and tell you what it is, I want you to let me know, what do you think is an essential song that guitarists should all learn? Let me know down in those comments. Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix. Don't go off how I just played it. Listen to the original if you haven't already. And you know, I'm not going to make you feel bad. Jimi Hendrix is one of those where, oh, you're meant to have listened to Jimi Hendrix. I was a massive, massive latecomer to the world of Jimi Hendrix, believe it or not. Just didn't cross my radar back in those goth years when I first picked up a guitar and wanted to learn all the detuned death and extreme metal songs. Didn't really appear on my radar. It was in my late 20s when I thought, who is this bloke then? Let's have a listen. How horrible, how arrogant to word it like that. But such is youth, the arrogance of youth. And I've since, you know, listened to all this stuff and massively appreciate it. But this song in particular, I just found myself having to bring it up and teach people. Why? Because it's a masterclass in meaning every single note. The easiest thing to do, ignoring that weird first bit, once it kicks in, to illustrate the masterful use of all the articulation that he uses in this song, I'm just going to play a bit of it without any of that fancy stuff. Whoops. It's not the same song. It's lacking in all the energy and mood. Now, I don't really like using words that aren't practical during lessons. I'm not going to go into that, but I like to, you know, I'm a very black and white person. When I say mood, the intention of the riff, the drive, the funkiness of it is all lost. So that articulation is what is driving this riff to that next level. What do I even mean? Well, the first three notes, when I show people this riff and I say, well, let's play this note, and then this one, then this one, okay? But that's not the end of it, really. To begin with, you start down here. And you get that big slide. It's a very rushed slide. And there's a tiny, tiny little bend on that top note. That G, which then the vibrato and slide away to nothing that requires you sliding down, but not off the neck, because you'll get a little pull off at the end. So you got to slam down with this hand. Just the tiny little intricate details. Slide. Slide. Oh, well, vibrato first. And then that little, just, I don't even know what you'd call that. It's just a slide from nowhere to nowhere. Just to fill in the gap, to show people, yes, that's the end of that phrase, and here's a big exclamation mark. And then you're going to hear it again. Everything is intentional. Even the pick attack. The pick attack is really important. It's one of those cases where, you know, when people talk about the Beatles and they say that they're responsible for a lot of conventions that we now have, I'm ignorant to what really came before Jimi Hendrix in the rock world, because I like shred. And you know, after Jimi Hendrix had all evolved, Richie Blackmore, Yngwie Malmsteen, Joe Satriani, up until what we are now. But I don't know really what came before Jimi Hendrix. Did any players do this much in soloing before Jimi Hendrix? I don't know. Let me know if there are any that I should keep an ear out for. My favourite lick is next. What? I'm going to get it wrong. I love that phrase. It just doesn't stop. Slide, vibrato, staccato, slide, which is a crush note, immediate crush note again, slide, up to the original. To not do that, and then of course the song is in E minor with that crazy dominant 7-sharp 9, which has just been dubbed the Jimi Hendrix chord, G and then A. So it lends itself to just some nice good old-fashioned E minor pentatonic stuff, which is good for guitarists of all levels. What I hope that my students take away from it when they learn this song, when I force them to learn this song, is that it's quite criminal on a fluorescent, colourful guitars and all this flashy stuff that we all love, that we try and reproduce and that we aim to create. It's criminal to do that stuff without adding the articulation. Every note should have a reason for being there, arguably, because, you know, there's all this stuff where it's the sum of its parts, where you're playing all this stuff, and none of those notes was more important than the other, and none had more articulation than the other, unless you pick the ones that I was picking. But you know what I mean. They were all equal, and it's more about that entire phrase as a whole, just a flurry of nonsense notes. But this, when you're not doing that and you're doing this kind of playing, that you're slamming the guitar, every note has got thought behind it. Is that one staccato? Is this a legato? Everything has got a slide, a bend, vibrato, a variation of plectrum attack. Pinch harmonics, if you can get them in there. Not on a single coil. Anyway, I'm really passionate about this song. I teach it all the time, and that's why. All that stuff I was just talking about is why. Anyway, I want to know what you think down in them comments. What song is an essential song for guitarists to learn at any point in the journey? It doesn't have to be like basics. Let me know down there. I'm off to go and practice another Jimi Hendrix song, and I will see you in the next video. I think that's how it goes.